be doing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being here. Just a couple comments. First, to the gentlelady who's no longer here from New York, some of her comments and her questioning. I have introduced a balanced budget on behalf of the Republican Study Committee. I would appreciate it if the Secretary gets a chance to take a look at that. We think it does the right things, protects Social Security, keeps the tax cuts in place that are set to expire this January, does the right thing with national defense, but also cuts some spending, which frankly we have to do around this place. Also, I would just mention, I think there's a big difference between trading with Colombia and trading with Cuba. Cuba is a state sponsor of terror. Their former leader just this week made the ridiculous statement that somehow he believes the United States is responsible for the South Korean military vessel that was sunk. So I think we got to keep all that in mind. I do appreciate the Secretary's comments when he talks about the values of rural America. I have the privilege of representing West Central, North Central Ohio, many strong ag counties in the 11 counties I get to represent there. But I was just curious because you made another statement, Mr. Secretary. You said, well, let me ask it this way. Do you ever think that government policies can be maybe can actually undermine the values that I believe that rural America encourages? And specifically, you talked about unemployment compensation. Do you ever think we can go with something too long where we're maybe encouraging the wrong kind of behavior and not rewarding the proper behavior?
Representative, in my capacity in public life, again, as a mayor, a state senator, governor, and now as Secretary of Agriculture, I've talked to a lot of folks who have lost their jobs or lost their farms.
Understand. What my question goes to the 99 weeks, almost 2 years of assistance. Do you ever think we can go maybe too far with that and we undermine those same values that you and I both believe are important to America, and particularly rural America?
If this were a normal situation and not as severe and deep a recession as we've suffered, your point might be well taken, but I think this is an unusual circumstance. The depth of...
Is there ever a time when it should end?
Yeah, when
No. Is there? Should we continue to extend it further than 99 weeks? Is there a time you would cut it off?
Well, you know, I think you extend it for the time necessary to get people back on their feet.
That's not what I asked. You think it should go further than 99 weeks, or you think 99 weeks is when it should stop?
I think that there should be a current extension for those who have been unemployed in terms of chronic.
Have you had any employers, as I have, come up to you and say, you know what, we've actually had people hired. They found out that the extension kicks in, and they say, you know what, we're not going to take the job because we can get by not working and get money from the taxpayer and from the compensation.
If that's true, then under the
have you had anyone say that to you? Yes. I've had people say that to me.
No. But as I understand it, if that were to take place, that they would then potentially be disqualified from recovering for receiving unemployment. Okay.
Let me ask a line of question. I did this with when we had Secretary Duncan in here with the Department of Education. How many people work at the Department of Agriculture?
Roughly 103, 4,000, somewhere in that neighborhood.
And is that number higher this year than last year? What's the trend?
Well, we're in the process actually of taking a look at how we might be able to restructure.
Is it up or down?
I think it's about the same.
Okay, and what's the average salary of folks who worked at the Department of Agriculture?
You know, I don't know a specific number. I'd be happy to get that to you.
Can you hazard a guess?
I'd be reluctant to do that.
Would it be more than, what's the average salary of a farmer across the country?
Depends on the size of the farm.
Our staff has said approximately $63,000. Would the average salary at the Department of Agriculture be higher than the average salary of a farmer of $63,000?
I think it would be comparable, perhaps less.
How many people, do you know how many folks at the department make over $100,000?
I don't know that number.
Okay, you'll be able to get that to us?
Sure, and let me just say what we're trying to do. We are taking a look at the supervisor to frontline worker ratio as a way of trying to figure out how we will be able to deal with the President's directive to us to reduce our discretionary spending as we did. We kept our discretionary spending about $1 billion less with the budget that was proposed for 2011, as the President instructed us to do. And as I indicated further, we have discovered $4 billion in savings through the standard reinsurance agreement. So we're constantly looking for ways. We are taking a look at our buildings, trying to figure out how we might be able to consolidate our building holdings to save resources. So we're constantly involved in trying to figure out ways to do a better job.
I got 5 seconds. I want to get one other question, if I could, Mr. Chairman. The GAO did a study looking at dollars that the organization Planned Parenthood gets. In that study, I was actually part of a press conference. Representative Olson from Texas had called for this study. In there, I forget what page, and I wish I'd have brought the document with me, the Department of Agriculture actually gave some money to Planned Parenthood. Do you know if that, in fact, is the case? According to the GAO, it was, and if so, what was the money for?
You'd have to be more specific in terms of time, in terms of date. It could very well be that a facility, a healthcare facility, could have received a community facility grant that leased property to Planned Parenthood. I don't know. What
does it strike you as sort of strange that your department would be using taxpayer dollars and giving those dollars to, awarding those dollars to an organization like Planned Parenthood?
Well, I think if you understand the
the Department of Agriculture giving money to Planned Parenthood, does that strike you as strange, kind of just on the surface?
Not necessarily, because if you understand the rural development component of our mission area and the impact that we have with community facility grants on expanding healthcare coverage and expansion.
I think most of the farmers in America would be comfortable with you giving dollars to Planned Parenthood?
I think it's important for people to understand the significance of healthcare in rural America and how difficult it was and is to get care in rural America.
Would you answer that question? Do you think most farmers would be comfortable with dollars from going Department of Agriculture to Planned Parenthood?
I think if they understood the connection with healthcare and they understood the connection of their own family planning efforts, they might very well understand that.
Really? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.